1914 comes around. My father, whose name was Israel, named after his grandfather, was born. And then war breaks out in Europe. No cause and effect, okay, as far as I know. And what happens is Zamosc is located right along the fault line between the warring armies. You had the Central Powers, the Germans and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and you had Tsarist Russia on the Allied side. And the armies began fighting one another. First, the Austrians invade Zamosc. Then the Russians come back and they take it over. And what was very typical in this time period, Jews were blamed for the problems here and with being traitors and allied with the opposing army or enemy. Okay, so Russian soldiers accused Jews of Zamosc of being in league with the Austrians. And on September, I think it was September 22nd, 1914, this is only a few months after the war had started, they executed 11 Jews and some Poles as well. And there would have been, I think, worse massacre had a Russian general not intervened. Then what happens next is the Austrians come back in, and you get this kind of like, they're literally fighting in the streets. Okay, so what happens, a lot of people, I think, including my father's family, said, our lives are at stake here. So they fled. And where they fled was eastward, into the interior of Russia, into what was called then the Pale of Settlement. Okay, my father was an infant, and I assume they fled in the wagon, and I think other family members went as well, including my grandfather's mother, who was still alive, and they went to Minsk. I don't know why they went to Minsk. Okay, I don't know if they knew anyone there, whatever, or maybe it was just the next major city on a direct, line from Zamosc. And they lived there for most of the war. And I don't know how they survived. A cousin whom I interviewed many, many years ago told me that basically the Jewish community, okay, in Minsk, helped support people. And Jewish communities, were very highly organized in Eastern Europe in terms of social, economic organizations, self-help groups. And this is the way I think, they more or less survived.